So not to read too far ahead, but just to start with this idea of seeking, that one human being is always, always seeking. Even if they're not conscious that they're seeking, they are seeking. Of course, one in an obvious way is seeking to fill their bellies through whatever work they do and whatever activities they do. Is on a very basic level, seeking for food to fulfill their physical existence, seeking for company to fulfill their emotional sense of being connected. And one is always in this pursuit, in a feeling of there being a pursuit, something I need, which keeps emphasizing the sense that what I have is not enough. What I have is not okay even. That this, where I am, this place, this state, these people, these things, this is not complete. So the seeking and searching energy and desire that a human being has creates a kind of restlessness. And that restlessness is what a human being is wishing to resolve. So they seek to resolve their restlessness. So the restlessness of that seeking initially is, although sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes confusing, sometimes agitating, actually it leads us to satsang. And it leads us to want to discover something deeper than just that which we all have access to. Food, water, shelter, company, family, people, all of that, which we all have. And no matter how much of it that you have, you discover that it still does not give any relief or release to that sense of restlessness. So we all recognize the state. And I love this quote. It's by Nisargadatta with I Am That. And it says, what has been attained may be lost again. So if we recognize everything that has been attained through education, attained through life experience, attained through things that we have and learning how to manage mechanical things, acquiring skills, acquiring health, energy, that everything that we have acquired can be lost. Just reflect on that for a moment. It's not saying don't acquire anything, but are we acquiring something in order to be released or relieved from agitation, disquiet, unrest, which leads to confusion, insecurity, uncertainty, agitation, and all that which comes from not finding what it is that we really want. So coming to satsang indicates that there is a knowledge that you want something that cannot be lost, because you have everything else. So there's an awareness that what you have can be lost. There's a very acute awareness in that. And in that awareness, one feels insecure. Because ultimately we know even we have acquired this body and the bodies of our loved ones thereby. And they can be lost. So how now to start examining this state of a human being to our advantage? Turning what seems hopeless and sometimes despairing to find a solution, we realize, wow, actually, rather than just gaining more of what I have, thinking that if I have more of it, I'll be more secure, experiencing that it is not the case, using that searching energy, inquiring energy to lead it towards satsang and meditation. Your efforts have led you to satsang. Because once one comes to satsang, what do they discover? What do they start revealing to themselves? That all that which you have, all that which is attained, can be lost. What is a human being seeking? Release from agitation, unease, uncertainty, confusion, which means a state of peacelessness. What does a human being live? Sense of conflict within oneself. Conflict that we cannot resolve our differences. We cannot resolve our endless searching for something that we feel unclear as to what that is. Searching for an end of doubt. Only, the quote goes on, only when you realize the true peace, the peace that has never been lost, that peace will remain forever with you, for it was never away. What we discover in satsang through meditation, what is that which was never lost? What is that that has never gone away? That all else can be taken away, stripped away. What remains unable to be taken away? So the quote goes on, instead of searching for what you do not have, find out what it is that you have never lost. It's just such a beautiful and helpful truth to contemplate and meditate on. Instead of searching for what you do not have, find out what it is that you have never lost. So one can say, I experienced a state of dissatisfaction, agitation, discontentment, uncertainty, maybe loneliness. So many words that we can describe the human condition. Because I experienced this unease, it must mean that I don't have peace. There's something I don't have, therefore I'm peaceless. So I must go in search of peace. And this becomes an endless, endless search. So the meditation brings us back through the inner reflection, turning the mind inward to look within, to find out what it is that has never been lost. So that state that has never been lost can be described by the state observer or self, pure self, as opposed to body self or personality self, pure self, witness self, knower self, see yourself. Words to try and describe that which is never lost. So as we continue in our meditation practice, the practice reveals what has never gone anywhere, what has never been able to be taken from you. As we meditate, we observe the nature of thinking. That's what we're left with. Because our body is still and not There's no demands on the body right now. Nothing is demanding our senses to interact. We're not having to see anything, so our eyes are closed. We're not needing to speak anything, so our lips are closed. We're not needing to smell anything, so your smell is neutral. You're listening to these words, but these words are turning your attention to reflect within. The senses are being drawn within. You're not listening to the news. You're not listening to, especially to bad news. You're not listening to gossip. You're not listening to some kind of drama. You're listening to that which is tuning you in to yourself, the self that has never been lost. The quote goes on. Now, it said everything. It said, instead of searching for what you do not have, find out what it is that you have never lost. That says everything. But then one is left with some sense of still needing more knowledge. What is that is never lost? What does it look like? How will I recognize it? How can I even think of it? And certainly, how can that be useful? If it doesn't have any form that I can identify, how will that be useful for me? So it gives you a clue. It's like being a spy, these scriptures. You have to follow their clues. Then it says, and that always begins with that which. We never say that in spoken language. That which is. But it has to say that which, because it's just described as that. This is the book. I am that. What a crazy title. I am that. No, yes, not this. That's right. Mayank says, this is describing not this. This, the identification with all that which can be lost because it was all that which we attained. And that's great. It's true. That just describes not this. Excellent. That which is there before beginnings and after endings of everything. So this gives us a clue. Right. Now I know the quality of that which has never been lost. It is before beginnings and will remain after endings of things. How will I recognize that? Well, isn't it lucky that when we sit in meditation, we have some thoughts, because that becomes now our study. See, the disadvantage when you sit in meditation and think that you should have no thoughts, then you won't be able to take the clue and lead the attention using the observation of the thinking mind for your advantage, for your realization. So never think thoughts are bad. Only now start to observe. The observer, meaning pure awareness, observes a thought arise. Therefore, it has to be there before the beginning of a thought. Also, that thought dissolves, and even though another thought will follow immediately behind it, there is still an end to that thought, even if it returns again. You cannot hold one thought in your mind constantly. There'll be breaks in between with other thoughts. Even the most obsessing mind has some moment where the thought is dropped, replaced by another thought. So that which is there before beginning and after the ending of everything, everything, thoughts, feelings, things, persons, experiences, everything. That which is never lost is there before beginnings and after endings of everything. What is this saying? That to which there is no birth, no death. So the observing awareness is not born with the rising of a thought, and does not die with the diminishing of that thought, the passing of that thought. This is what we meditate on. More and more maturity in this observation, in this practice. Then it's described this state that can never be lost. That immovable state, which is not affected by the birth and death of a body or a mind. So now it's saying it is there before birth, after death, whether it be the birth of your body, death of your body, birth of your loved ones' bodies, death of your loved ones' bodies, or birth or death of a thought, a feeling, or a memory, even the birth and death of an idea. It's now describing what that ever-present state is, unaffected. Madhuramham, unaffected, not made restless, uneasy, discontent, agitated. It is immovable, unaffected. So now it's given a quality of that which is before birth, cannot be diminished or destroyed by death. It is unaffected by birth or death of a body and mind. This is describing a state of being, a state of peace, a state of consciousness that we describe as the observer and the knower. But it is a state that can be perceived. And this is the last line that he says, this state you must perceive. Why must you perceive it? Because you are the ones who have recognized the end of seeking. The end of seeking of things has led you to the end of seeking of this conscious state that is unborn, undying, unchanging, ever present, and unaffected by the pain that comes with beginnings and endings, birth and death. So now, all of you, having been led to the state of satsang, of meditation, comes a time now in your own practice to start realizing, I have discovered a state where the seeking has been released. I have discovered a state, I perceived, as Nisargadatta said, I have perceived a state that is released from seeking. What is seeking? This state that I am is not okay. I need to be more. Or I need to discard something. I need to attain something. I need to discard something. That consciousness, I need this and I don't need that, is the consciousness called Rag Dvesh, attachment and aversion, and it belongs to the waking state mind. It's needed in the waking state mind, what to grasp and what to let go of. Hot pot, let go of it. Hot water bottle, hold it. It's needed for that. So what is happening in meditation? The energy that we have started to associate ourself with through the waking state is now getting released. We are releasing our identification from I am, the consciousness of Rag Dvesh, which belongs in the waking state consciousness. I am ever present, unchanging, uninvolved state of consciousness that can never be lost. Let's take a few minutes for meditation. Just reflect on this. Watch in your mind how obstacles come, arise in the form of doubt that act to prevent your realization of this, that keep you restless to seek all the buts. What about this? How will I know how to act? How will I resolve this conflict? their conflict. It's all in the realm of the thinking mind, pushed and pulled through the polarities of rag and dvesh. Instead of searching for what you do not have, find out what it is that you have never lost. That is the end of seeking. What is Vedant? The end of knowledge, the end of seeking more knowledge, more things, more spiritual knowledge. There has to be an end. Vedant. The end of seeking, searching, the end of restlessness, the end of confusion, and the discovery of real Ved, knowledge of your true self, unborn, undying, ever present, unchanging, and perfectly unaffected. In Sanskrit, all those words combined are beautifully represented in the mantra Amaram Ham, Mataram Ham. What is that which can never be lost? That which is indestructible, ever present, unchanging. Amaram Ham. What is the result? What is the quality? What is the effect of that? Total release from the agitation that you need more. You need to grasp more, hold more, do more, discard more, be less. Attachment, aversion, attachment, aversion. Madhuramham, the release of that chaos. You cannot resolve your state of peacelessness through trying to resolve your situations. You manage your situations with a clear mind, but they will not give you the peace that you are really searching for. Even if you appear to resolve them for some time, something will arise to keep you restless until you can sit with yourself and say, I am Amaram, I am Madhuram. This state you must perceive, says Nisargadatta. You came to satsang, which means you know where peace lies. So we practice returning to that consciousness that has never been lost. I am Amaram, I am Madhuram. All that which we seek ordinarily requires a lot of effort. The only effort in meditation to be aware, very subtle effort. Be aware of what does not change. Be aware of that which is aware of thinking, observing thinking. This effort is not to attain a state, it is to perceive a state that has never been lost. To perceive that which is. So when you think in terms of how to resolve your conflicts, your problems, your burdens, how to decide something, how to act, how to move forward with things, when to act, when not to act, what to say, what not to say, all those questions that arise during the course of being a human being in the waking state, day-to-day existence of the human being. Instead of trying to struggle to attain clarity within those circumstances, take a moment in meditation to reflect within. Let the mind be turned within. And you'll see that all the worry and agitation that comes in decision making, in plan making, in conflict resolution, all based on the imagination of gain and loss. I must attain something. I cannot afford to lose anything. I must hold something. I must throw something, discard something. And then you start to observe these patterns which belong in the waking state realm. And you start to observe. I'm not going to seek resolution in a place that just rounds and rounds in dissatisfaction and constant seeking. Seeking, never finding. Seeking, never reaching. You can discover that which has never been lost. It is a state of consciousness, state of being. Can be described by Amaramham, Madramham, ever present, unchanging, indestructible, uninvolved, unaffected. And even to repeat this mantra, Amaramham, Madramham, and observe its vibration, its meaning, and slowly, slowly accepting, deeper and deeper accepting, this is who I am. Amaram Ham. The Ham is most important. The Ham is described by Amaram Madram. I was so inspired by this quote. I put the Gita aside for today and we'll pick it up again next week, but I just loved this and I wanted to share it. Instead of seeking for that which you think you don't have, discover that which can never be lost. So simple.